Hello, welcome to this tutorial about computer systems, and let's get started with this. So, cut, cut. So everyone, welcome to this tutorial about computer systems. So what is computer systems, So it is basically when hardware, software, and external devices work together to perform certain tasks. So basically it is designed, or computer system is designed to process, store, and communicate data and information. And a computer system, or a computer system basically has certain components like input and output ports. So what they are basically is they are a way that allows the computer to receive information and show the information to you in a meaningful way. So let's say you have a special mailbox and it is connected to your computer. People can put letters into your mailbox and your computer takes them in. This basically is like the output part. But then what it does afterwards is once it has the letters, it can basically like read them, maybe filter them, or do some kind of action. So let's just say it reads them. And then after reading the letters, it can show you the contents of the letters on the screen. Or maybe let's say the letters, since people are sending it, could contain, let's say, maybe an audio, so it could play a sound as well. But basically it will present the information to you in the best way possible, or it should present it to you in the best way possible so you understand it. And that's basically the output part. So the input part would basically be the computer receiving something and then doing some action and then showing it or displaying it somehow, which would be the output. So you can basically think the input and output ports like the mailbox. And yeah, so it's basically a way for the computer to interact with the outside world. You could say the internet, or it doesn't have to be just the internet though. It could also be like through a USB being connected to your computer and it processing that data and then showing it to you. And then the second component that the computer system has is the central processing unit. So it is basically the brain of a computer, because what it does is that it performs majority of the calculations and carries out the instructions in the computer system. You can also think of it as, a conductor. I think that's how you say conductor, or I think the conductor of an orchestra, which coordinates and controls all different parts of the computer, making sure that everything works smoothly together. And then the next component is random access memory, the RAM, which basically is memory like ours. We have memory as well, we remember stuff. So it's basically a memory like ours, but for the computer, where the data is stored and can be accessed quickly and also be used quickly as well. But unlike a hard drive, the storage is like temporary, kind of like our short-term memory. We might have some information that will process and store it in our brain, but it will just be like for the short term, and after a while we don't really remember it. It's kind of like that. But basically, yeah, it's a temporary storage space which allows the computer to work with data and instructions really fast, basically like at real time fast. And you can basically think of the RAM as a disk that the computer's processor uses to do its work. So like whenever you open a program, the relevant data and instructions are loaded into the RAM, and then the processor can easily and quickly access them. But then another difference between like a RAM and a hard drive is that the contents that are in the RAM will be lost when the computer is turned off or restarted. And the reason for this is because RAM requires continuous electrical power in order for it to retain the data. So when you turn off your computer, those contents that were previously stored are basically cleared out. So, and the reason for this is because the RAM is designed to be fast as well as to be used as like a temporary storage, which would allow the processor to be able to quickly retrieve and manipulate data. And this means the more RAM you have, like for on your computer, the more data it can hold, and you will have a much more faster and efficient performance. And by not having enough RAM, it can cause your computer to slow down when running multiple programs or a single program which consumes a lot of memory, like Chrome, Xcode, Android Studio. And then the other component is secondary storage devices, and these are basically like hard drives, USB, so it's not anything complex. And then the next part is the operating system. So an operating system is basically a software program which manages and controls things like hardware resources, software applications, and like user interactions. And it does all of this in order to like make sure the computer functions effectively.